All right, thought I'd do a quick update. Made enough progress probably to do a video. So here's the trim and reverse bucket set up for the gearbox. I think I had in the video where I'd made the mounting plate for that. So I basically finished it off with some scrap that I had around. I had this piece that was already in this shape. It kind of worked out real well. I was thinking about coming over the top and going from engine bearer to engine bearer with the bracket, and I really don't think that was necessary. And this is as minimal as I can get it. I did have a little faux pas right there where I kind of set things up, mocked it up by hand, and then marked it. In reality, these should have just been further apart, but these are fairly large cables and they're stiff, kind of hard to mock up by hand and hold in place when they're under pressure. So I ended up having to cut that out more, drop it down a little bit and bring it over to get a better lineup. With the pulleys. I thought about bringing that to the inside, but it was just as bad that way. And I thought, well, that cable naturally sits right there, and it's really the better length. The other one furred a little bit too long. It's pretty good. I'm not too worried about it. The bracket's under a little tension, but I don't think there's that much pressure there. We're talking 5/16 and quarter for that bracket, and it's a single bolt on the back side of that mount, but it is what it is. So I went ahead and got the electrical box mounted, and just real simple stuff. Just made it up with some square tubing. The plan here for this fuel line is just to bring it through a couple of rubber clamps or metal clamps with rubber grommets along the back, and then end up the fuel tank's there with the fuel pump in it. That's the next on the project. Kind of wanted to keep the fuel tank out of the way for some of this other stuff. So my tank's been holding pressure, like 10 pounds of air pressure for days at a time. So I'm like, yeah, we're good on that. I still have to weld in the fill bung to hook up the fill hose. So it's kind of getting down to the more minor stuff. Mounting the fuel tanks, putting in the fill hose. I got a couple more holes to put in the transom for plumbing. You just cross over, connect the tanks, just a little bit of plumbing. Essentially, we're getting pretty close to being done back here. Other than the exhaust, I still have to, I kind of wanted to get everything else done and then just go ahead and run that. So in the rear, the exhaust will probably be the last thing that I put in. Just been keeping it in mind for running things down here, trying to keep that general area clear, which has worked out just fine. So basically, once all that's done, I'll move towards steering. I still got to turn that into a steering wheel. So I don't think it'll be too bad. And then electrical. I wasn't really waiting to do electrical. I've got this other stuff going on. The seat is coming. I wanted to kind of mock up the seat and then pick the steering position after I had the seat at least mocked up, and then run the electrical, because I'm not sure what I'm going to run into for seat mounting. And my thought was to run the electrical right in there on the outward side of the engine bearer assembly, or the main engine bearer there, just underneath the electrical box. as it is, it comes up towards the front quite a ways. I think it even reaches up under the dash, you know, on the floor. So it'll just have to be extended up into the dash. I started working on the cutout for the dash instrument panel. So I'm kind of refining that, and then I'll mark it out and cut that out and install it. You have to make a bracket for that. There's 4 mounting bolts on the back of that instrument panel. So I have to make a bracket back there. When you stick the panel in, you got screws that come in through the bracket on the back side and hold it secure. Pretty minor project, really. I just figured cut it out rough and then Dremel it out to fit. Die grind it out to fit. So anyway, coming right along. Not a lot of big stuff left. You know, seat's kind of a big one, but it's got a 6-point mounting, so I think it's just a couple of rails, front and back, you know, and then figure out how to get the height and the angle that I end up choosing. And anyway, that's it. Talk to you guys later.